There we go. Right, we are live on the Den podcast with Rob Fox. This is the very first episode. I'm going to do things a little bit differently today. I'm going to start on my own without interviewing anyone, just because I think it's the best thing to get the show off the ground. And to start, I'm going to say the Den podcast is about you, the viewer, getting to know your favourite musical artists, be it solo or in a band. And we just chew the fat, just sit here, have a discussion, see what happens, and see where the discussion takes us. Not quite sure if we're going to be doing weekly or fortnightly, depending. We'll see. We'll see how it goes, and we'll see what happens. So I'm going to play it by ear quite a bit because the show's just obviously finding its feet. But that's the introduction for what the Den's going to be out of the way. You probably don't know who I am, and at the moment you probably don't care, which I get completely. So my name's Rob Fox. I'm a musician and apparently now a podcaster. So I play bass, play guitar, I can play some keyboard as well. I've got a project called Fury Road, which is an 80s retro synth project, which I'm having great fun doing. That's just a little pastime hobby when I've got 5 minutes to sit down when I feel like it, not trying to get anywhere with that. We'll move on to how I got to know Matty J. So, in the beginning, I'm a massive fan of CKY and 96 Beans, and at some point they needed an intro for the weekly Monday show. So if you don't know, the weekly Monday show is the most inconvenient time slide show for most people. As you might be aware, Matty lives in Finland and Darren Miller from 96 Beans lives in America, in Los Angeles. And in Europe, the time zones are different to America. That's not good if you want to run a podcast. But it works for Matty and Darren, and it's incredible. So they run that show together weekly on a Sunday/Monday, which is why it's called Monday. They needed an intro for the show. I got in contact. I made a little something. I didn't ask if I could. I just did it, sent it off, and Matty really enjoyed it. So did Darren. They used it in the show. Time passed, and I got talking to Matty about various things. At one point, we were going to have an interview with my band, The Shucks, to, just get on the show, try and get the band sort of progressing to where we want to be, that sort of thing. We needed interviews, etc. That, for some reason, I don't know, I think things got in the way, different projects, that sort of thing. It never came to fruition, and it just fizzled out. The idea fizzled out. I mean, it was still there. We were going to do it, but it never happened. But I kept in contact with Matty, and he then decided that he wanted a way of putting all of his videos, etc., into one channel. So all his interviews for each one into a channel. And he came up with the idea for MM Radio, which is Music Media Radio, which was exceptional. And he needed help categorizing and uploading the videos. I mean, if you've checked out Matty's page, there is a hell of a lot of stuff on there. Interviews with some amazing people, from Sepultura, Infected Rain, Andy McCoy from Hanoi Rocks. A lot of stuff. There is a lot of stuff to sift through. So we broke it down into the fact we're going to have channels on MM Radio. So as you can probably see on there, we've got the playlist. We're going to treat the playlists as different channels. So you've got the best of Monday, you have the best of the Tinnitus interviews, things like that. And it's going to be great. If you haven't subscribed, I'd suggest you do, because if you need music information, it's going to be the place to be. And yeah, so I got involved with that, and in return, he suggested that I maybe have a podcast on the show, on the channel. So here I am doing the podcast. I'm really excited to do it, and I've got a lot of artists in mind that I really want to get on, but I've got to sift through the list, get in contact with them, and we're going to have some amazing local artists from where I'm from in England. We'll have some higher profile names, and if you've got any yourselves, if you've got any ideas or suggestions for who we can have on the show, let us know and we'll get in contact. Or if you want to get in contact with them and then they can contact us, more than happy. It'd be great. But the Den is going to be almost on the same lines as the Janitas podcast or show, but I'm going to base mine more on the local side of it, I think, at the moment, and that's how we're going to go. So that's me. That's what the show's going to be about. I do tend to ramble a lot, so if I've held your attention, amazing. Thank you. Yeah, so that was just a short little introduction to The Den with Rob Fox. We hope to see you on the channel. Like and subscribe. MM Radio on YouTube.